Thank you,
morning.
everybody. We had a few technical difficulties, but we are here now, and I'm really, really excited. My name is Shamika Thompson. I am CEO of Queen's Armour Enterprises, and I am here with my good friend, mommy empowerment coach, parent coach, family advocate extraordinaire, Yasheema Marshall. Thanks for joining us,
Yes, hello,
Yasheema.
hello, hello, everyone. How are you? Thanks for joining us today.
All right. So today I have Yasheema here because we are going to touch on a topic that plagues, our parent community and our families, and nobody's talking about it. And our inspiration for this segment actually has to do with an article that I found and shared with Yashima called More Than a Mother, Emotional Incest in Black Culture.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's heavy. I mean, it just makes
And
hairs
it's deep.
stand up
When you sent me that
all
article,
over
I
me,
was like, oh, here she go.
right?
Here she go.
So, hey, Tanea. So before we get into this juicy topic here, Yashima, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, your background,
Okay.
and where you're.
Sure. Well, my name is Yasheema Marshall. I am a parent coach. I have social work by trade. I've been doing this work for about 20 years now. Ooh, long time. I don't know. I only look 15, but I've been doing this work for 20 years. And so I've been doing work in juvenile justice, child abuse and neglect, mental health, um, anything, all kinds of things. I've been doing it. And I work with parents to really help them make life easy for them. I work with parents who are dealing with juvenile justice issues, child abuse and neglect issues, dealing with behavior problems with their children, and other supportive things that parents may need help with in the home. And so my big thing now was like helping mother empowerment, really being on top of mother empowerment, helping mothers think more empowered about themselves, more positive confidence, self-esteem, not so much mommy guilt, and education workshops, and talking about some of these tough topics that, like what Shamika and I will talk about today. So I'm very excited to be here today with Shamika talking about this topic. It's very sensitive with some mothers, and I'm sure we're going to probably poke at some people, not intentionally, and you may get offended, but it's okay.
Yes, it's definitely out of love, but we got to start healing. That's what this is all about.
Yes.
Awareness and healing. So, like I said, the name of this article, and I got it from the Urban Intellectuals website, which if you're not familiar with them, I will post a link to their website. They do Black history and all that good stuff. And the author calls himself Spirit of Thought, wrote this really detailed and, almost, it was almost slightly disturbing article.
Yeah.
About this concept of emotional incest. And I mean, Yasheema, you read it. Like, what was your initial reaction when you read this article?
Well, the title, was More Than a Mother, and I was like, oh gosh, I kind of knew the direction he was going in just from the first paragraph, and it wasn't a concept that I was unfamiliar with. Like I said, working in the systems for a long time, child abuse and neglect, juvenile justice, and mental health system, and working with mothers and families, I've seen this many a times, and it's something that you try to talk to people about, mothers about, but it's a very sensitive topic. So when you said, what do you think? I said, oh boy, somebody finally asked and talking about this, really? And I was like, oh, let's go with it. And so it's real. It's really real.
It's real. Okay, well, I did attach the link to the article in the previous post announcement about this live feed. So I'll post it again if you can't find it. But one of the things he starts out with in this article, and I'm going to read it right off the page, it says specifically, one of the things, the ones of single mother who projects a romantic relationship on her son as if she is using him to fill a void in her own life, some would refer to as emotional incest. So that's the concept there. So I know we hear the word incest and we see it, we're just like, yeah, but let's be clear. The author is not a clinical psychologist or anything like that. It's a concept, and it really is just stressing that the crossing of that emotional line.
Yeah, and I like the way he put that, emotional incest, because essentially with some of the things we're going to be talking about, when you're putting your son and making your young sons or even your teenage sons feel that void or into that role as the father figure now, or you're the only man you need. When you put that child into that role, you know, you're emotionally raping them. And that's what incest means. And we think about it sexually. And so you know what sexual incest means. When we say incest, everybody knows what that means. So you put it in the concept of a mother and her son and the emotional incest. You know what that is doing in that relationship. And so it made me cringe a little bit. I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of harsh." He's like, "That's a little harsh there in this article," you know. But I understood the concept, you know, where it was coming from when he said it.
Right. And I mean, that's for me too. Like, I mean, those of you who don't know me, I have a 3-year-old son, and technically I'm a single mom, but you know, these are the things that, like, you know I worry about, like in terms of not wanting to overstep any boundaries or using, you know, my any one of my children, because I have two, but you know, to fill a void and, you know, damaging them in some way. Void. That emotional, right. So the scary part, though, is that a lot of parents who do this will do it without recognizing it. So, you know, there goes the awareness aspect.
That's true. I mean, you're talking about, like, I mean, social media, this is big, you know, on social media. I mean, the article, I can understand and relate to all the things you were talking about in the article in terms of mothers posting, say, for instance, those love holidays, right? We're talking about emotional incest, those love holidays, Valentine's Day, you know, the birthdays or New Year's Eve, and you see the pictures and the statements of, like, oh, this is the only man that I need, you know, this is the only boy that keeps my bed warm, you know, those kind of statements, and of course, we're definitely, and we're not saying that the mom actually means that her 7-year-old is keeping her warm at night, but it's just the concept and the emotional expectation that even you thinking that mentally, that what you're putting on that young child, that son. Because, you know, my friend, she was talking about what I was talking about, we were going to be doing this. She brought up a quote that Michelle Obama said. You know what I'm talking about? That we raised our daughters and love our sons. And it's like, well, I raised my sons, and me too. I have 2 sons at home with me, teenager and a preteen, and so, and they're very strong-willed men, you know, rightfully so, from their fathers, for their father being strong, and me being this strong-minded kind of person like that. And so, if I allowed them, they would run me like they think they're my husband. They really would, because that's in their I think it's in their nature to do that. But I always put them in their place. Hold on. Time out, homeboy. Yep. Because it's only one big Fred here. If that's who's running the household, that's the man in the household. And so when I never put them in that same role, or even make them think that they're on the same level of their father in the roles and what they think they say so, and our affection towards one another. So we're not saying that you shouldn't love on your sons, because, you know, I'm big on that. I hate when we treat our sons like they have to be these big men dingoes, so we're going to beat them into manhood and make them so strong. So I'm not talking about loving on them, appropriate love, son. I'm just talking about that where you cross that boundary. Like that Oedipus complex, you know what I'm talking about? That baby boy syndrome, you know, that you know, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Y'all seen the movie.
You seen the movie, and so that's what we're kind of talking about, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we're laughing, like, but it's really not funny. You know,
I mean, Baby Boy, I laugh at that movie Baby Boy all the time. You know, when what's his name is in the kitchen butt naked, and he's drinking it, and Tyrese comes in, oh, you man, you naked. He's like, boy, he says, see, your problem is you think your mama is your woman, but she my woman.
Problems.
You know?
And you know, you gotta wonder how you even get to that point in thinking like that. Like, how does the son get to that point? And this is how it starts.
How he gets to that point, exactly. He gets to that point with that inappropriate, you know, relationship and boundaries and emotional expectation from his mother.
Right.
You know, that Norman Bates syndrome. Ooh. I'm sorry. I know y'all don't want to think yourself as Norman Bates, but some of y'all teetering on that Norman Bates syndrome. You know what I'm talking about? Look it up. Norman Bates, the Bates Motel.
Yes, and I know some of y'all that might be a little beyond. You know, we telling our age over here. But
no, it's new.
They redid it.
Yeah, we
know the original, which was even scarier.
Yeah,
but
so
you know,
but ultimately, talking about in the article?
So ultimately, he identified in the article. He identified 4 common undesirable behaviors that point to the crossing of this boundary. The first one that he listed, you already touched on, which was the suggestive post on social media. So because of the holidays, the romantic holidays, Valentine's Day, birthdays, special occasions, many mothers, do profess their love for their children. I've shouted my kids out as my Valentines and stuff like that. Love is love. But he speaks on to the fact that for single moms, it can become problematic. And whereas it will on the surface be lighthearted and jovial, just kind of like you said, the Oedipus complex. You're already teetering at that point, because now, you're getting validation by putting it out in social media.
Right.
Okay. And, you already spoke to that. Did you have any other?
Yeah. I mean, and then we talk about, the fact, just the fact when you are a single mom and say that came as a result of a divorce, just whatever, separation from the man, and you don't have a man there in the home, who's there, and putting that responsibility on that son, saying that, now you're the man of the house now. You my little man of the house. You gotta be the man of the house. And you gotta take care of your mom. You gotta do, what is that? No, he's not the man of the house. He's not the man of the house. He ain't the boy of the house. He is a child. He's your son. And we have to make sure that we allow our sons as single mothers to stay and remain in that childlike role as long as possible. You don't need him to be your man. If you want a man, go get a man. But your son is not to step into the role as that man.
Right.
Now, I know sometimes when people say it, you don't mean it probably in a negative way of saying that. But remember, we're talking about emotional incest. So you may not mean it, but what does that say to a 15-year-old? Just take my if I was now my husband left or something happened, wouldn't happen. But if something happened and we were left there and he was, that's like me saying, all right, Fred, now you're the man of the house now. Now, I'm going to need you to step into the role. Now, this is what they're saying. Now, when I say that to him, this is what emotionally and mentally what you just said to your son. Let me break this down for you. So I say, Fred, now, Dad's gone. You're the man of the house now. You Dad gone. You 15 years old. It's time for you to step up. Start for you to be a man now. That's what I need you to do. So what you just said to your son is that, I need you to take care of me. I need you to do all the things that your dad was doing when he was here. I need you to make sure that things are taken care of around here as the man. So, so that's what you're saying to him. So what does that do to a 15-year-old putting that pressure on him? When you think about that as a mother, he's already worried about his own stuff. He's a teenager. He's 15 years old. So now you want him to be a man before it's time for him to be a man? You want him to be 15 years old and do a man's job and fit the role of the man that you're needing and wanting as a grown adult man in an appropriate relationship with a man, but it's not appropriate with your son. And that puts a lot of pressure on them, and that takes away their ability to be a child and a teenager and grow into the young men that we want them to be. And so it's damaging to them because it's confusing.
Right.
What do you really mean?
Right.
So that means I can tell you what to do. And see that now you want to know why he gets to the point where you think you can't tell him what to do. You just told him he's the man of the house.
I come home when I feel like it.
So that means you don't tell me what to do, right? So it's just that line you teetering. It's the mentality of a 15-year-old child that we're expecting to be a man.
Right.
So,
or any child for that matter.
Yeah.
Right. And along those same lines, number 2 on the list was suggestive photographs on social media. Okay.
I wish you could show something here. Maybe we'll post a couple after the live.
Maybe we'll find a few and we'll go ahead and post them in the thread.
Yeah, like the sexual one. I mean, and sometimes I really, some of the pictures I really was questioning, like, I didn't send people over to her house, so she got some issues.
Yeah, I might need to call DCF on that one, right? Yeah.
And, we're talking about the ones where, the kissing. No, I kiss my sons and show them love.
Right.
But it's not in a sexual nature, and nor does it look that way, would ever look that way on social media. And so why do you think it's okay to portray that? And, or you think...
Or even like the suggestive physical poses.
Oh yeah, the
The
physical
son
poses.
behind the mom holding her on the hips,
on the hips,
and stuff
the
like
booed
that.
up stuff, like
Hey
you know
baby,
that.
hey, it's my mama,
It's my
mommy's son
right
love.
here,
That's just
and
creepy.
mommy's son love right there.
Ooh, I can't.
But that's what we're talking about, and you really have, and we talk, it's serious. Those things are inappropriate. You really have to reel it in, check yourself about what's going on, when you're doing that, those suggestive poses, with your sons, sexual, taking pictures, having your sons take pictures of you in your lingerie. You're a single mom, in your lingerie, sexual poses, just all kinds of innuendos, and that are very damaging emotionally and mentally for your sons. That's what we're talking about here, emotional incest.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. And, back to what you said a few moments ago, all this equates to stolen innocence. You're stealing your child's innocence when you violate them this way emotionally. We have to be very, very careful, because with that stolen emotional innocence comes so many other damaging behaviors that I'm sure in your area of expertise, you've probably seen it all.
I mean, because just think about, when people say, I like to compare it with incest, sexual incest. If kids grow up and they've been sexually abused and they've learned things that are inappropriate, when they get older, that a healthy sexual relationship, they don't understand what that looks like. Whether they become promiscuous, whether they seek to sexually abuse another child, they don't understand, and it takes a long time to help them get back to understanding what a normal, healthy sexual relationship looks like. That's the same thing when you have emotional incest. When you have an inappropriate relationship with your mother, and like you're her boyfriend, and she's not calling you that, but that's the emotional boundary that you guys have created between you, then that son doesn't really know how to relate to a normal, healthy teenage relationship per se. Or even later on. I'm saying it'll create issues, later for them in their future romantic relationships. That's right. As baby boys, either they'll be looking for another mother figure. Thinking, oh no, I need mature women. Because this is what they've been dealing with, how they've been relating at home as if they were a man to a mature older woman, their mother. And so we want them to be able to have healthy relationships and deal with the normal stuff that people have to deal with relationships. Not the fact that I got to get this crap out of what my mom kind of put in me and this confusion in my head in order to really know how to treat a woman the right way.
Right. I mean, it's so important, and I'm glad that you and I are getting this out, because even if this helps one person, that's a whole generation now that we're sparing, a lot of damaging behaviors. So 3 and 4 on the list, because all of this goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh look, see, she's dating guys like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's a whole lot of fun, isn't it? Whew. So mom is girlfriend and spending romance time with your son.
That just sounds wrong. Do we have to talk about this? I mean, it's just wrong. And many romantic time. I mean, my mom used to talk to me about this woman back in the day, and it was a perfect. We didn't think it was anything sexual going on, but it was a classic emotional incest case. I mean, to the heart. Okay. I mean, to the point where when the boy slept in the bed with her, and she wore her lingerie, her sexy lingerie, everything, and when he grew up, he treated her as if she was his woman, and abused her, talked to her crazy, ran through her house. She couldn't tell him what to do. She couldn't tell him to go to school. She couldn't tell him anything, because she had really created this inappropriate, this emotional incest with this young boy from a very small age, all the way up until he was grown, to the point where, he was like, please, like, what are you talking about? Wow. And so it was just, but it was that romantical, that just sounds wrong. I mean, it's like sitting down, me having you having a candlelight dinner with your son. Stop it. Girl, if you're that lonely, go get you a man. I mean, they got so many apps out there now. Like, you don't even gotta. Yeah, seriously. Because when you get to that point where and that's why I say sometimes in my post, the worst kind of parent is is the one that does something that you know is wrong and you keep doing it. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things. You know, doggone well, little Johnny ain't your man, he ain't your boyfriend. You shouldn't be sitting down having a nightcap with him, eating steak dinners with candles,
feeding each other.
Hey, baby, let's eat a chocolate covered strawberry. No really? Good. No good. I mean, stop it. Just stop it. I'm telling you that right now. You just need to stop it.
Yeah. See, when you say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. But the truth is, a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are doing it without giving any consideration to how much they are damaging their children and their family. So, from your professional standpoint now, okay, what do you suggest? You know, say a mom, you know, she sees this video and she's like, oh, shoot, I'm teeter-tottering, or I've been doing this. Right. What you know, what do you suggest is the first step to?
I'm really good. I'm really big on on boundaries, on healthy boundaries. You know, I think we always have to make sure that we maintain healthy boundaries with our children, whether it's what we're allowing them to say to us, how to talk with us, how open or how intense and direct. It's boundaries. I mean, with your son, you know, don't put that pressure on him. You know, stop saying things like they're the man of the house. Stop saying things like they're the only man that you need. You know, stop saying things like, this is my date for the night, y'all. My little John, we about to go out here and get us some steak and eggs.
Speaking of son,
this is the son here.
Yeah.
Hey, son.
Say good morning, everybody.
Say good morning. Good morning, everybody. You know, and so, you know, keep those boundaries in order and keep them, and just allow your sons to grow up and be sons, and be children. You know, let them grow into the role. Teach them what it means to be a young man, an adult. You know, don't put them in the role and say expect them to be a man, but kind of put them, you know, teach them what they need to do. And if you don't need to know what that means, which a lot of you don't, and it's okay. Find someone, your relative, an uncle, you know, a coach, a mentor in the community that can help your son with that, because he doesn't need you to teach him how to be a man by being your man of the house. That's not the way. That's not the route to go. You know, and secondly, if you really find yourself really in the part where you're really damaging them, where you feel like, oh my gosh, what have I done? He's so overwhelming that he's trying to tell me what to do. He's controlling what I wear, how I look, you know, and you think it's like odd or weird. Check him in, let him know you are the son, you are the child, and I'm your mother. Stop going on these boyfriend girlfriend dates. There's nothing wrong with going to mother-son dances and taking your kids out to eat. Of course, you're a single mom. Of course, you may go out to eat for Valentine's Day or whatever. But just stop with the innuendos and the suggestive part of it that is a sexual or romantic relationship with your son. It's not okay, and it's unhealthy for you, and it's unhealthy for them. You know, and so I would just say start there. Get those boundaries together and just stop doing certain things. Don't until you stop telling me he's the man of the house. You know, stop saying he's to fill the void of his father. You know, stop putting him in that role, because that's not his role. It's not his role. Okay?
Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
And you know, it's funny how just about everything in life usually starts and ends with healthy boundaries.
That's serious.
We might have to do another segment on that.
I know that's a tough. Like, what do you mean healthy boundaries? Yeah, it's tough. People don't know what those are sometimes, which is why it's so easy for us to cross them, because we don't know what those look like.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So
if you have any questions, I mean, we'll leave. You're going to contact me, Yasheema Marshall, on Facebook.
Yes,
you know,
that's going to be my next question. How can the people get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me. I'm all over social media. So, Yasheema Marshall on Facebook. I also have a couple of groups, Parent Empowerment Group and the Hot Mom's Life. And just send me a message. I'm available here. I'm a parent coach, parent educator, parent workshop person. So I'm here for you. Can give you some information, some free consultations and strategy sessions about what you can do and how to handle some things that you're not too satisfied with at home.
Yeah, she's the bomb. Cheesebomb.com. All right, guys. So that's it. Just do me a favor. If you're watching this video on replay, I just want type 1 in the comment section. You know, share this out. You know, share it. You know, spread the word, because we need to talk about this and we need to confront it. Those of you who tuned in live, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. And look for that link to the article and to Yasheema's contact info. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Say bye, Shia.
Bye. That was cool.
That was awesome.
And I like that. Oh.